and welcome to Notice Tonight, the show that decodes the region. I am Wasbir Hussain. After Assam, is it the turn now of Tripura to have a national register of citizens? Is Tripura going to witness an exercise to detect and deport foreign nationals or illegal migrants? Well, speculations are flying thick and fast after the Supreme Court this week heard a plea from the little-known Tripura People's Front and issued notices to the centre and the state government in Tripura for their response to the demand by the petitioner for preparation of an NRC in Tripura, detection and deportation of foreign nationals based on 19 July 1948 as the cut-off date, revision of the voters list, and steps to protect the language, culture, and script of the indigenous Tripuri people. Several questions arise. How will the ruling BJP government in Tripura respond? Unlike in Assam, where the ruling BJP is backing the NRC exercise, the BJP in Tripura has already said or indicated that there was no need for an NRC in the state, at least as of now. How will the Tripura government react to the demand for the detection and deportation of illegal migrants? In case the state agrees, can there be separate cut-off dates for detection and deportation of illegal migrants in different parts of the country? What could be some of the steps that the state can take to protect and preserve the language, culture, and script of the indigenous tribal people in Tripura? Is Tripura all set to be engulfed in the murky politics of citizenship? Before we discuss the issue, let us see what the Maharaja of Tripura and top Congress leader Mr. Pradyut Debbarma has to say on the subject. I am also joined by a galaxy of important political leaders from the BJP, the CPM, political analysts, and there will be a lot more on our studios joining. But before that, I am now joined by the Maharaja of Tripura, Mr. Pradyut Debbarma. Mr. Pradyut Debbarma, welcome. You know, the Supreme Court has issued a notice to the centre and the Tripura government, Mr. Pradyut Debbarma, on a plea seeking extension of the NRC in Tripura besides detection and deportation of foreign nationals. What is your view? The Supreme Court has issued this notice.
Well, on the NRC issue, I'm myself filing a petition in the Supreme Court asking for an NRC exercise to take place in Tripura. I welcome any move by the Government of India or the Supreme Court directing the state government to start the entire process of NRC in Tripura. It's a border state, and I believe that border states need to safeguard its borders from a lot of illegal migration which takes place, especially from Bangladesh.
Okay, you said that you are filing a petition yourself at the Supreme Court seeking NRC for Tripura. Are you doing this on behalf of the Congress party, which is your party, or as an individual? You are also the Maharaja of Tripura. You have a position there.
Well, before a congressman, before being anything in politics, I'm also an indigenous person of Tripura. My father was and my grandmother were the signatories in the instrument of accession and merger. And I think it is my duty as an indigenous person of Tripura to ensure that our state is not engulfed with people from outside. I'm doing this in a personal capacity. And this is the wonderful thing about the Congress party is that we are not told not to follow our own sentiments. They've not told me not to do it. And I'm doing it in my personal capacity. And it's a view which I have, which is within the party as well, that NRC should take place in Tripura.
NRC should take place. Now, Mr. Debbarma, don't you think there will be parties and groups in Tripura which will oppose the NRC idea?
Well, I'm sure there will be opposition because nobody wants to upset the apple cart. Everything is very conveniently put under the carpet because there are interests which don't want NRC to take place. The fact is that I am doing it because there is a huge problem of illegal migration which has taken place in Tripura post our merger with the Union of India. And I think we owe it to the people of Tripura, the genuine original citizens of Tripura,
Okay.
be it Bengali, be it indigenous tribals, be it of other communities, that first the interests of the genuine citizens of India are looked after, and then we move forward and see how we can accommodate people from another part of the country.
Okay, okay. The Tripura People's Front, which is a little known organization, Tripura People's Front, on whose plea the Supreme Court has issued this notice, they want detection and deportation on the basis of a cutoff date, that is July 9, 1948. This is the cutoff date according to the Citizenship Act. Do you have a different view on this? What do you think about this cutoff date, July 9, 1948?
Well, you'll see it in my writ petition, which I'm going to file, and Honorable former Union Minister Mr. Salman Khurshid is appearing on my behalf.
Okay.
And I will, or not everything can be told to media right now, but once the writ petition is admitted, you will see what is the cutoff year, what is my view on NRC. I don't think it is my job to deport people to another country. That is the job of the government of India.
Okay.
But to detect first is very important. And once we detect that they are not genuine citizens of India, it is very important to disenfranchise these people. My view primarily right now is that we need to detect these illegal people who have come illegally to India and disenfranchise them, because voting is not your fundamental right. And we can definitely ensure that they don't have a vote anymore.
Okay, Mr. Pradut Burman, the Congress also, your party also cannot escape responsibility. Now, many will say that the CPM and the Congress that had ruled Tripura in the past did not do anything to prepare a citizens list, or for that matter, an NRC.
Yes, and now we'll blame everyone. I mean, I think when it comes to NRC, everybody is guilty. And here I take a position. I'm not just a Congress leader. My family ruled over Tripura for centuries. And when we merged with India, we didn't accede to India, we merged with India. Merger is willingly done.
Yeah.
There were certain assurances given to us by the Union of India about protection of our land, our culture, our demography, and those assurances have been betrayed. We feel let down. And the time has come, when we see it in Assam, we see it in different parts of the Northeast.
Right.
The time has come to, with the judiciary being very active as well, the time has come for us to take a position. And I take this position as an indigenous person and not as a politician. Politics can happen, politics happens and they come and go. But for us, we have to remain in our state, we have to live in our state, and and we love our country, India. So we want India to protect us and India to honor their agreement with our family and the people of Tripura when we merged with India.
Right. Now in Assam, Mr. Pradut Burman, the cutoff date for detection and deportation of foreign nationals is 24th of March 1971. Now my question is, do you think there can be a different cutoff date in another state?
Exactly. Now let me give you an example. Suppose the NRC update happens and you figure out that there is an X number of people who are considered illegal in Assam. They are no longer Indian citizen in Assam. Are they allowed to be Indian citizen in Tripura then? Are we going to allow our borders to be open so that all these people who have been considered illegal in Assam, can they move into Tripura? I mean, are we dumping ground for everyone? So it is extremely important that we also have our own update of our citizenship, and we make sure that, see, it is very important for us to protect our land and our culture. Demographically, we have become minorities in our own state, but that does not mean that we don't have a voice. And the Supreme Court has given us an avenue to ask what is constitutionally ours. We are not asking something which is extra constitutional, but please give us our rights.
Absolutely.
And one more thing, Wasbir, I have said that please disenfranchise these people who are not citizens of India. Isn't that a normal thing? And when people start protesting, how can you disenfranchise? Let me be very categorical. Voting is not your fundamental right. So we are not taking away your fundamental right.
Absolutely.
But if you are not an Indian citizen, you should not be allowed to stand for elections, and you should not be allowed to vote. And if NRC takes place in Tripura, believe me, a lot of people in the assembly will also be in trouble, because I believe that there are a lot of people who have come into India illegally and are MLAs or ministers in this government or the previous government,
okay,
or the ones before that.
Right. Now I have to let you go. I have to thank you, Mr. Pradut Debbarma. But before that, my last question to you, NRC is a sensitive issue. Do you think that once you also file a petition at the Supreme Court demanding the NRC in Tripura, do you think that the politics of citizenship is going to gain momentum and gain steam in Tripura suddenly?
See, the thing is that the people want NRC in Tripura. The people who are genuine Bengalis and genuine indigenous people, they want NRC. Who are the people who don't want NRC? It is very clear. People who don't want to be caught, who don't want to be identified as people who have come into the country illegally, they are the ones who have a problem with NRC. If you're a genuine Indian, I don't see it as a problem. And I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful that this does not become a political issue, but it becomes an issue for every Indian. Wasbir, if you have to come to Tripura, there was a time when you had inner line permit. You're an Indian, but you needed permission to come to Tripura. If somebody from Assam or somebody from Andhra Pradesh or Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra, they want to enter Mizoram or Arunachal, there was an inner line permit. There is an inner line permit in Mizoram.
Yeah.
You need permission to enter. But if you are from Bangladesh, and you can just walk into my country and then become a voter, and then after 5 years even become an MLA or a minister or even higher up than that, then what sort of a justice is this? This country first should be for the people and for the people of India. We are here, we have become a dumping ground, we have saturated. And if these people cannot be deported to Bangladesh, fine, human rights is a problem. There are a lot of other issues. I completely sympathize and empathize with them. Then, first of all, please take away their voting rights. And they can't occupy jobs. We are unemployed. We have huge unemployment problems. But people from outside are coming and getting our jobs. And please disenfranchise them. And most importantly, if you want to create a situation where they are rehabilitated, Tripura cannot take the burden of the entire country. Please have rehabilitation camps across Northeast, across India. But one small state cannot take the burden of influx.
Absolutely okay. Very clear-cut views there of the top Congress leader from Tripura, Mr. Pradut Debbarma. Thank you very much for speaking to Notice Tonight. Now, to begin the discussions, I have with me in Agartala, Tripura BJP Chief Spokesman, Dr. Ashok Sinha, veteran CPM leader and State Committee member, Mr. Gautam Das, also joins me from Agartala. Also in Agartala, I have Mr. Shekhar Datta, political commentator. In New Delhi, I have the Petitioners Council, Supreme Court Advocate Manish Goswami. From Shillong, I am joined by Dr. Prasenjit Bishwas, professor at the Northeastern Hill University. And at our studios in Guwahati, I have Mr. Abhijit Sharma, president of the Assam Public Works, an organization that has been at the forefront of the NRC campaign in the state for a citizens list free from illegal migrants. Let me go to you straight, Dr. Ashok Sinha in Tripura. You see, your party is now running the government in Tripura along with, of course, the IPFT. Now, what is your stand on the demand by certain quarters for an NRC in Tripura as well as detection and deportation of illegal migrants? Mr. Sinha.
Good evening. See, NRC is actually the job of the central government as well as the Registrar General and Election Commission, etc. The state government is directly not involved in this. In case of Assam, what has happened is after Assam Accord, this was supposed to be done, but it was not done on time. So the Supreme Court asked Assam government to carry out the process under its own supervision.
Yeah. Now, my question is,
So
Dr.
at this
Ashok,
moment, this particular NRC that you are talking about
yeah?
does not apply to Tripura.
So you are saying, Dr. Ashok Sinha, we all know, Dr. Ashok
Yeah.
Sinha, we all know that the state government is not directly responsible. But my
Yeah.
question is, what is the stand of your party? Is your party in favor of the NRC or not? This is a very simple question I am asking you, Dr. Ashok Sinha.
See, it is a very, the answer is very simple. NRC has to be done throughout the country. It is not only Tripura or any other place. There has to be a national register of citizenship throughout the country, not only in the border areas. If there is a country, there are citizens, there must be NRC. There is no question about it. The problem comes.
Yeah.
The problem comes when, like you said,
Yeah.
there is murky politics in this. When some people try to provoke people, some people provoke one group, some people provoke the other group, and then, like you said, a murky politics is played on a very simple thing called the NRC.
So you are saying the NRC should be in the entire country, but that is true. NRC has to be in the entire country, but
Yes.
right now, if we are talking about Tripura, because the Supreme Court has asked for opinion from the state government as well, what will be your advice to your party government? Should they go for the NRC, or is the party likely to oppose it?
No. Party is not likely to oppose it straightforward. There is no question about it. Because national register is not something illegal.
And I will come to the other
So if
panel.
the central
Yes.
government wants that,
Yes. And the second part of this,
if the central government wants that this should
Right.
be done very clearly,
if the central government wants, then you will have to go for it. Now, the second part of the
then
question.
we have no
Yes.
objection.
Yes, the second critical point in the Supreme Court notice is a response on detection and deportation of foreign nationals from Tripura. Now, the petitioners have demanded that it should be on the basis of 19 July 1948, which is a provision in the Citizenship Act. So now we'll go into that later on. Dr. Sinha, very simply, is the state government or is the party in favor of an exercise to detect and deport foreign nationals?
See, this is something, it is a routine job of the government. There is no question of not expecting. See, if there are foreign nationals in the state, this is routinely done every year by the Election Commission, while they are doing the updation of the voter list. It is
Okay.
always done.
Okay.
The
Okay, it's a
exercise
routine
of
job.
NRC
Let me-
is a much more intensive exercise.
Right. Let me quickly go to Mr. Gautam Das, top CPM leader. Mr. Gautam Das, is the CPM, my same question before I bring my analysts into the picture and take the opinion of Mr. Abhijit Sharma here and Dr. Prasenjit Biswas. Mr. Gautam Das, is the CPM in favor of an NRC in Tripura? Straight question.
Actually, you see, we have seen the notice issued by the Honorable Supreme Court and led by the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi,
Right.
that this notice has been issued to Union Government, Tripura Government, Register General of Census, and then Election Commission of India. So first we shall have to wait what reply they would give. So straightway we can't make any comment on this thing. After get to know their reply, then we can comment. But what I can tell you now, that our stand is that there is an international agreement between India and Bangladesh, that is what is called Indira Mujib Agreement, that that is 24th March 1971 shall be the base year or cut-off date. So this is our stand.
Okay. Now you know, in Assam, 1971, as you have said, you have referred to that agreement. In Assam, 24th March 1971 is the cut-off date. So do you have the same stand as that? Even if there is a cut-off date, it has to be 24th March 1971. Is that what you were saying, Mr. Gautam Das?
Yes, yes. So we are all of the same view. But first of all, we shall to get to know the reaction of the union government, the state government, election commission and the census authority, because notice issued to them.
Okay. Now we have heard the political leaders, we have heard the three political leaders as making their opening remarks. Before we talk to our other panelists, Mr. Manish Goswami, you moved the petition along with senior advocate Kamal Nayan Chaudhary in the Supreme Court the other day. Your clients were the Tripura People's Front. So what is your main argument? What are the core points in this petition?
See, let me make a good evening to all of you. Let me make a few quick points. Now, I have heard a little bit of what the other panelists had said. Now, the Tripura People's Front has filed this petition for enforcement of something that is already in the statute book. Please understand that there is a citizenship registration of citizens and issue of national identity card rule 2003. In terms of rule 3, it says the Registrar General of Citizenship Registration shall establish and maintain the National Register of Indian Citizens. So there is already a statutory provision where the Registrar General of India shall prepare an NRC. All that we are saying is that please enforce this qua Tripura. So therefore there is no question of we making out a fanciful case. And as regards the debate with respect to the cutoff date of 24th March 1971,
Yeah.
we have indicated the cutoff date of 19th July 1948, strictly basing our argument on Article 6 of the Constitution of India. Because that is the date.
No, true, but don't you think
cutoff-
Manish Goswami,
that is the cutoff
but
date.
yes, but Manish Goswami, don't you think that if that is applicable in that, don't you think the other people will say that it should be the same cutoff date applicable in other states as well? In Assam.
Well, that is correct. That is what I'm trying to say. Besides Assam, which has got a special provision of Section 6A in the Citizenship Act, which indicates 24th March 1971 as the cutoff date with respect to Assam. With respect to the entire country, the cutoff date is 19th July 1948. And that is not what Tripura
So-
People's Front is saying or I am saying.
Okay,
It is the
fine,
Constitution
fine,
of India that says.
But I will have to go to Madam. I will come back
And
to you.
secondly,
I'll come back.
I'll just give me a moment.
Yeah.
I'll just add one more thing. In fact, the date of 24th March 1971 with respect to Assam is also a subject matter of challenge in the Supreme Court.
Yes,
and
that
it
is what-
pending
that is
adjudication
what
by a constitutional
we'll-
bench that why can
We'll
Assam
come to
have
that.
a separate date.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. We'll discuss in details, Manish. I need your views on that. What is that? Now, Mr. Prasenjit, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, what do you make of the comments by the three political leaders of the three political parties in Tripura? They are not saying in a one go that they want the NRC in Tripura. That is what the sense I'm making. Yes, we all know that it's a legal process. The entire nation must have an NRC or a National Register of Citizens. Now, what do you make of the opening remarks of the three political party representatives, Mr. Prasenjit Biswas?
Yeah, everyone is tongue in cheek. They are not not trying to say what really they really want, because the history of Tripura is very complicated. The plain areas of Tripura and the hill areas of Tripura are very different. In the plain areas of Tripura, which has been adjoined with India, which were part of East Bengal, so people of East Bengal origin have remained there.
So what
And
is the
going by Article 6 of the Constitution of India, people whose origin are in undivided India, Article 6A,
yeah?
they are natural citizens of this country. So therefore the Kumilla region and the part of Chakla Roshanabad, which has become part of Tripura kingdom, which is sometimes called Hill Tripura and sometimes called Tripura.
Yeah.
There is an ambivalence between the hills and the plains, and therefore Article 6A strictly applies on Tripura, which allows people of undivided in origin to be natural citizens of India.
So it is going to be a
So
matter.
I don't really know what is the constitutional basis of such a petition.
Okay, we'll have to debate that. Manish will
One
reply
has
to that,
to
but I have to go for a short break. But before that, Abhijit Sharma, the Tripura People's Front is almost playing the role that you played a couple of years ago by moving this petition to the Supreme Court, and after which the Supreme Court decided to monitor this whole NRC exercise in Tripura. So in Assam. So what do you think of this petition? How do you think things are going to move in the coming days? Very quickly.
We have to welcome Tripura People's Front. At least they went to Supreme Court, and we are lucky that the court is on that. The matter came on the Chief Justice Court, and he is monitoring the whole process of NRC in Assam. So we think that both the case will be looked by the Honorable Chief Justice Mr. Ranjan Gogoi and Mr. Manish, the advocate for the petitioner, and Kamal Nayan Chaudhary. They are also known with the issue.
So basically, you are welcoming the Tripura People's Front.
We are welcoming. It's too early. It's too early now. Let's see what the central government, state Tripura, the RGI, and the Election Commission give some reports. But so it's a good thing. Good thing is going on.
It's a good move. That's what Abhijit Sharma is saying. Abhijit Sharma's APW, Assam Public Works, had moved the petition a couple of years ago that after 2009, after which the Supreme Court decided to monitor the NRC exercise in Assam, and the Tripura People's Front is almost playing a similar role. When I come back, I'll go directly to Dr. Ashok Sinha and of course the other political leaders, Gautam Das, and to know more about this issue. We'll go for a short break. Don't go away. Welcome back. Mr. Shekhar Datta has not spoken. Shekhar Datta, political commentator in Agartala. Shekhar, welcome. The Supreme Court, as you know, we have been discussing the Supreme Court admitting the plea by the Tripura People's Front and issuing notices to the central government and the state government of Tripura. What are your thoughts? The cutoff date of 19 July 1948 being put up by the Tripura People's Front as a demand for cutoff for the detection and deportation. Shekhar Datta.
Initially, let me tell you that earlier the regional parties of Tripura used to demand deportation of foreign nationals with 15th October 1949 as cutoff date, because that was the date on which Tripura became a part of the Indian Union. But now they have reverted to 19 July because this is mentioned in clause B of Article 6 of the Constitution, where it is clearly stated. Citizenship Act, Part 2 of the Constitution, Citizenship, where it is clearly written, in the case where such person has not so migrated before 19th day of July 1948, he has been ordinarily resident in the territory of India since the date of his migration, or it's an incomplete sentence because there is another clause, that is clause C. Clause C.
Okay, now,
So 19 July, I think, has been drawn from that.
now, Shekhar Datta, what is the political significance of this demand? What could be the state government's reply?
Tribals will be happy if this demand is accepted and the NRC issue is initiated. But there may be an adverse reaction among the non-tribal voters and citizens because there will be a lot of misgivings and doubts over who will be given ultimately citizenship or permanent residency. So that is going to be the problem.
Now, I will come
And the
to
state government, you know, as far as we know, BJP is in favor of NRC. But here in the state unit, the leaders have said that no NRC is required in Tripura. But that will not be acceptable to the tribal electorate or tribal voters and
Okay,
residents.
I will take this. I will ask Dr. Ashok Sinha to respond. Dr. Ashok Sinha, there is an impression that the state BJP is not really in favor of the NRC, does not want to disturb the apple cart, does not want to disturb the status quo because it might lead to a lot of misgivings. So, when are you going to discuss this issue? When is the state government likely to come up with a reply?
Yes, we have just received the notice from Supreme Court. This has been given to the Advocate General. I have spoken to the Advocate General today. We are going to sit and discuss what exactly should be the reply. But let me tell you something. Like the learned lawyer of the Supreme Court and my friend Shekhar Datta, they said about Article 6A. I am not a lawyer, but I have heard about the Passport Act of 2016 also, which has been amended at that time. Now, and then this bill coming in the Parliament. All these things put together, they will create quite an issue for the Supreme Court to decide on. In between, someone said about the Indira Mujib Act also. So, all these things, you cannot decide the cutoff date based on one particular point, because it is a long time has passed, things have changed. So, all these things put together, the Supreme Court will really have to sit down and think. And Pradyutji was correct in one particular thing he said. How can somebody be a citizen of India in one state and not a citizen of India in another state? That is also something that we must think about. And this is something that is going to give a lot of weaponry for people who want to do murky politics.
Dr. Ashok Sinha, this is not really a political issue. This is an issue concerning a state and its people, isn't it?
Absolutely
yeah.
not.
You see, is the state government...
Absolutely.
Yeah. That is why I am asking you, is the BJP willing to have an all-party meeting, discuss with all the opposition parties, everybody concerned, before giving a reply? Is it on the cards? Will the state government likely to take such a step?
I am not sure about an all-party meeting. That will be probably decided when we meet to discuss this.
But
I don't know about an all-party meeting till now.
But is this a good idea or not?
It's a good suggestion, but let's see.
It's a good suggestion. You like
It's a
the
good
idea?
In a democracy, we discuss with everyone. Yeah, in a democracy, you discuss with everyone. Talk to the people also. More people you talk, it is better.
Absolutely.
Issue is not as simple as it looks on the ground.
Absolutely, absolutely. Mr. Manish Goswami, that cutoff date issue, we all know that yes, 1948 is the cutoff date that is applicable in the entire country. Assam is a different case. but you know, can we go back to all that in reality? After all, it is an acceptable fact that Assam Accord is also an acceptable document that has been presented. It may not be passed, but it has been presented in Parliament. That is, in all probable, for all practical purposes, a document that has been accepted. You know, even the NRC exercise has a bearing on that. Now, on what basis do you think that your client, or you for that matter, are going to argue the case for this kind of a cut-off date? Do you think this will dilute the case?
See, how we will argue the case before the court, leave it to the appropriate stage. But today, we need to establish the basis for filing this petition. We have proved to the court prima facie that yes, there is a case which the petitioners have presented to the Supreme Court. And let me tell you one thing from whatever little experience I have in the Supreme Court. Supreme Court doesn't issue notices casually and not in such a sensitive manner, such a sensitive matter. And as regards the legitimacy of the Assam Accord and the other aspects that you pointed out, I wouldn't like to comment except to say that that aspect of 24th March 1971 is still a subject matter of challenge pending in the Supreme Court. I reiterate it. Assam Sanmalita Mahasangha, whose counsel I am, as well in the Supreme Court, has challenged that cutoff date, and that issue is now pending the Constitution bench. There is absolutely no doubt that the NRC in Assam is now proceeding on the basis of 24th March 1971. But that date has still not, as I say, crystallized.
So
considering that the challenge is still pending in the court before the Constitution bench.
I will come to Abhijit Sharma, but Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, what do you make of this? Manish Goswami is also the counsel. He is also the lawyer or the counsel for the other group from Assam who is challenging this 24th March 1971 cutoff date and wants it to be 1948, which is applicable elsewhere. Now, what do you make of it?
In Assam, we are saying it should be 1951. The NRC should be prepared on the basis of the 1951 NRC.
Yes, you are right. Last NRC.
1951 NRC.
Absolutely. You are right, Manish.
1951, yes.
But what do you make of this? Different cut-off dates on the same kind of a situation in a different state in the country. How plausible do you think that is?
That is not plausible. That is why the challenge. That is why we are saying, how could Assam have a separate cut-off date than the rest of the country? That is the whole crux of the case.
How can you now? Let me. My question. No. Prasenjit, just wait. Prasenjit, just hang on. Prasenjit, Manish. The question to you is, if Assam's cutoff date is 24th March 1971, if you are taking 1951 as the basis, how will you have an NRC in Tripura or detection and deportation again go back to 1948? Are you going to go back and forth on this issue? Again, somebody will challenge. Are you saying that there can be still scope for a fresh NRC on the basis of a fresh cutoff date in Assam?
I didn't get to. There should be what you said, a fresh NRC?
No. If that is your argument, Assam is 24th March 1971, as well as you are taking into account the 1951.
We are not accepting it.
You are saying that 1948 is applicable elsewhere in the country. So still there is a scope to challenge everything else and go back to square one and have a fresh process. Is it what you are saying? Is it also a possibility? Quashing everything. Forget about the entire thing we have done.
Let us not confuse the two issues. In the Assam matter, presently the NRC is proceeding on the basis that the date 24th March 1971, or for that matter, Section 6A of the Citizenship Act is a valid piece of legislation as on date. Because the challenge to 6A has been made by us saying that this provision of law is unconstitutional. Now that challenge to Section 6A, which stipulates the date of 24th March 1971, that challenge is presently pending. So till and then that provision is not struck down, we must
that is a
presume
valid
that
piece of
24th March
legislation.
1971 as on date
Yeah.
with respect to Assam is correct.
So therefore,
That's all I'm saying.
Therefore,
But
Prasenjit, Dr.
we don't know
Prasenjit
what the
Biswas-
Supreme Court decides
Dr.
when our
Dr.
issue is
Prasenjit
actually
Biswas-
heard and finally decided.
Therefore,
Yes.
Therefore, Dr.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah. Therefore, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas,
Yes.
if everything is in the realm
Sure.
of speculation,
Yes.
this question is in the realm of
Yeah.
speculation. If Manish is to win the case at a future date, challenging the cut-off date which is applicable, which is a valid piece of legislation 6A as of now, that means, do you think the NRC which is being prepared in
Yes.
Assam now
Yes.
will also be null and void at some later date? If this is a hypothetical question.
Yeah, I mean, this is a kind of a legal speculation, but one has to look at Article 253 of the Indian Constitution. Constitutionally, we are obligated to respect an international agreement. Therefore, we cannot in any way change a word of Indira Mujib agreement. That is binding on the entire country. So we have to read Article 73, Article 51, Article 253 of the Indian Constitution. So if we are talking within the ambit of Constitution, we should not be nurturing such wild dreams of changing the terms and conditions of Indira Mujib agreement. I find that utterly odious, and no Supreme Court lawyer simply says something like this.
Okay, let me, I'll come to you, Abhijit Sharma. Mr. Gautam Das, you know, what do you think? The same question goes, let me have a political perspective. 19 July 1948 was the petitioners from Tripura have demanded as the cut-off date for detection and deportation. What are your thoughts, Mr. Gautam Das? What does the CPM think of this date, this cut-off date?
Absurd proposition. Actually, as of now, from the very beginning, we are telling that 24th March 1971 shall be the base year and or cut-off date. So, we do not support this demand of going to 1949 or 1948.
So you are saying that this is an absurd proposition. Now, what is the significance of this move, Mr. Gautam Das? The tribals in Tripura, you have ruled the state for 25 years without a break. The tribals in Tripura have been complaining for decades now that they have been reduced to a minority in their own land by large-scale migration from East Pakistan and thereafter from Bangladesh. Mr. Gautam Das.
This is, you know, this is due to the partition of India that happened. So in Tripura, in Assam, in West Bengal, so there in all these states, the refugees from the then East Pakistan that has taken shelter. Everybody knows it. So here, actually, the tribals and non-tribal people here, they are living in a very cordial relationship they are maintaining all along. Actually, earlier the extremist secessionist organization, they call for drive out foreigners and all that. So that actually did not get support of the tribal people and non-tribal people here. So everybody is living here peacefully. So now that yes, anybody can go to court, any high court or Supreme Court, but first of all, we shall have to see what reply give by the central government and state government on that issue.
Now, we will wait for that reply. Dr. Ashok Sinha,
getting there.
Yes, Dr. Ashok Sinha, Mr. Gautam Das of the CPM has said that, Prasenjit, just hang on. Dr. Ashok Sinha, you know, Mr. Gautam Das has said that 19 July 48 is an absurd proposition. He has described it as absurd. Dr. Sinha.
Yeah, I am also quite surprised because anyone asking for 1948, avoiding the Indira Mujib Pact and then the Passport Act of 2016 being amended, suddenly you ask for 1948 when Tripura didn't even join the Indian this thing. So, I mean, that is very interesting. I'll not call it absurd as such, but that is quite something that really caught my attention.
But Dr. Ashok Sinha, I will
I'll
take
tell
your
you what,
comments.
at this particular point, yes.
Yeah. No, what I am finding interesting, Dr. Ashok Sinha, is that in Tripura, the BJP, CPM and the Congress, at least they are united on this cut-off date. All of these parties are saying that there cannot be separate cut-off dates. It has to be 24th March 1971. That is a good thing. That's a highly democratic. Three political parties of the different spectrum, at least.
This is not a question of, see, this is not a question of any political parties agreeing or disagreeing.
I know.
If you ask all three of us,
that was in a lighter vein.
All of us will say the same thing. We belong to India.
Yes, yes.
So,
that was in a lighter vein, Dr. Sinha.
This is the law. You have to, law is equal for all of us.
Yes, yes. Of course.
Yeah.
That was of course in a lighter vein that I was saying that all the three political parties are.
I got you there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, you are trying to make a point. Prasenjit.
Yes. I was saying that CPM MP has earlier asserted that NRC should be done in Tripura. Now they are doing a dilly-dally. They are saying it may be done or may not be done. They are raising various issues. They are waiting for the response from the state government. They accused BJP of not supporting it. Now this kind of politics that CPM has been playing in Tripura has been very counterproductive. They have failed to protect the rights of tribal people. They have not protected the language and culture of tribal people of Tripura. Similarly, the current ruling party BJP should really take care of Riang and Bru refugees. They have not taken care of Riang and Bru refugees at all. So NRC is becoming a diversionary politics for CPM and BJP.
So Dr. Ashok Sinha, your response? Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what he is talking about. After this, our BJP government was formed, the refugees of Kanchanpur, there was a pact, there was a decision that all of them will go to their hometown or home village, whatever. That is the action we have taken. The thing that was stuck for decades, we sorted it out within 6 months.
Absolutely.
What else do you want?
Okay, right.
We sorted it out.
Right.
We are looking after them, definitely.
Now,
Riangs are really in deep trouble because of that.
is Mr. Manish Goswami, is there a deadline? Has the court set any deadline for the center and the state government to come up with their response?
No, I've seen the order. It is a plain issue notice. So we expect that normally 4 to 6 weeks after that, that is normally 4 to 6 weeks, it should come up.
So what is the road ahead? Once you get the reply, what is generally the road ahead?
Well, once you get the reply, if we have to respond to any aspects of the reply, then we'll file a rejoinder, that we call it a rejoinder. And then thereafter, I believe the matter would be heard on merits by the court and decide.
But NRC issue has been clubbed with that of Assam. Therefore, something we can hear on 23rd of October?
No, that's a wrong reporting. In fact, the Tripura matter has not been tagged with Assam.
Okay, Tripura matter, that was a wrong report in a section of the media that it is being clubbed with Assam. So that is not the case. Now, Mr. Abhijit Sharma, you know what?
That is not the case.
What is it that you have understood from the entire discussion so far? Where is it heading? Because the cutoff date at the end of the day, it will be very difficult to have two different cutoff dates for the same set of for the same problem, that is problem of illegal migration from one country, that is Bangladesh. So in that case, it will be extremely difficult for everyone to have two cutoff dates. So that is most unlikely.
The court will also, I think the court will also have some problem regarding the cutoff date, because the court is monitoring the Assam process. It's 1971, and for Tripura again it will be 1948. And the political groups they are against the 48 because
All the political
all
groups are
political
against the
groups, because
1948
the
cut-off date.
most of them politicians have to be, their names will be cut out if the 48 is there. So this is the thing that at least the political groups, the state government and the central government. Now central government in the Mr. Amit Shah or the Prime Minister, in every meetings they are saying that they will update the NRC in all over the country. But regarding Tripura, that day we got a statement from the central minister that in Tripura it's not required right now. So at least for 5 years, another 5 years, till the next election, BJP will say that we don't want NRC in Tripura.
So that is your prediction.
It's my prediction.
So Abhijit Sharma's prediction, he is the
For
man.
BJP, I'm saying, only for BJP.
Yeah, Dr. Ashok Sinha, Abhijit Sharma is in the studio. He is the man, you know, he heads the Assam Public Works, the organization that moved the petition in the Supreme Court in 2009, after which the Supreme Court decided to monitor the NRC exercise in the state, although it was decided in 2005, but nothing was moving. Now, he predicts that the BJP is not going to accept an NRC in Tripura, at least for the next 5 years. So, I mean, is it that, or can we expect that there will be, the state government is going to respond favorably for an NRC in Tripura?
So I don't know how he got this idea
It's a
that
prediction, my dear sir.
5 years there will be nothing. See, the statement was very clear. When a particular political party leaders went to the Honorable Home Minister, they came and reported that Home Minister has given them a promise of NRC. In reply, when queried, the Honorable Home Minister said, no, I did not say anything like that. That was what? On that, see, once the case is in the court, it is in the Supreme Court, we will give our answer, the central government will give its answer, the Registrar General and all of them. And then the Honorable Supreme Court, and there are a lot of learned lawyers there, then they will decide.
True.
They
Yes,
will
that
decide
is
what
the
is good and
yes.
what is bad.
Yeah, Dr. Sinha, that
If
is the normal.
If the Supreme Court decides,
yes.
it's all over.
Yeah, Dr. Sinha, that is a very simple road ahead. That is the standard of, that will be how things are going to play out. But, but Dr. Sinha, but politically, don't you think this is enough fodder for, as I have said, we are expecting now Tripura is going to be engulfed in this politics of citizenship.
I just hope so. I just hope that all the political parties of Tripura, they restrain themselves and don't create problems for everyone else.
Don't create problems.
The law is law. Law will be there for everyone equally.
True.
But playing politics, being like you use the word murky politics, I just hope that all the political parties in the state, they restrain themselves. They don't play with fire, should not play with fire.
Should not play with fire. I have to go for another short break, but Mr. Gautam Das, before that, 2 states with 2 different cut-off dates. What do you think?
I think the legal experts can say like about this thing, but what I am telling that situation in Assam and Tripura, this is not the same. But now that, yes, in a country, there cannot be 2 cut-off dates.
Right. Now, Manish, I'll go for a break, but very quickly, Manish, I know you are challenging the Assam case. Let us not go into that. But give me your legal opinion. Can there be 2 cut-off dates in 2 different states?
Let me tell you, the highest document of this country is the Constitution of India. There is no other document above the Constitution of India. All laws are subject to the Constitution of India. 19th July 1948 is a date given in Article 6 of the Constitution. I rest my case there.
The same constitution the same constitution also gives 24th March 1971 as the cutoff date for the case of Assam.
No, sir. That is the whole thing. Please be clear about the facts. 24th March 1971 has been brought into by enacting Section 6A in the Citizenship Act.
Yeah, in the Citizenship.
There is no amendment to Article 6 of the Constitution. So please, 24th March 1971 is a date found in Section 6A of the Citizenship Act, a section that was specifically enacted and is only concerning the state of Assam. The Constitution provides for only one date, and that is 19th July 1948. So these are two different issues.
The entire exercise.
24th March 1971 doesn't find any place in the Constitution.
So, by your argument, the entire NRC exercise has the potential at some point of time to be declared null and void. The entire detection and deportation process on the basis of 24th March 1971 has the potential at some point of time to be declared null and void.
I would not like to comment on that.
Okay, he has decided to be diplomatic. When a lawyer becomes diplomatic, it's become very difficult to argue and prod him. But we'll still try to get an answer from Manish after this very short break. Don't go away. Okay, welcome back. Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, things have already become hazy, already become murky actually. We are now, there is a debate on the cutoff date. There is if Manish Goswami's argument is to be taken, then the entire 24th March 1971 is already being challenged in the Supreme Court. We don't know anything can happen. It may go either way. But at the end of the day, it is the whole issue of the fate of large number of people will be depend on the judiciary and politics.
Yeah, but the point is that one has to abide by the Constitution.
Of course.
And constitutionally speaking, an international agreement is not challengeable in any court of law. Rather, we have to enact laws to implement an international agreement, such as Indira Mujib Pact. Then,
true.
In the very Article 6, as I have already said, people who have their origin in undivided India, in the Chakla Roshanabad area, which is part of the Tripura kingdom, they are natural Indian citizens, going by Article 6A of the Indian Constitution.
Yeah.
By Article 6B, those who have come after 1948, they have registered themselves. They become naturalized citizen of India. Therefore, I don't understand on what basis this kind of an NRC and change of a cut-off date, moving away from the Indira Mujib agreement, can really be done. Now, these claims are very, very murky. This is to generate a politics of division, a discourse between us and them, us versus them, and creating suspicion.
Yeah.
That's not going to be at all helpful for a state like Tripura.
We will have to wait and watch, and Dr. Ashok Sinha will have to do a lot of answering. But before that, Shekhar Datta, the BJP in Tripura, is not saying forthright. They are very reserved. Dr. Sinha is with us, as you know, very reserved, and I'm not getting a very, very clear cut. Is there a duality? Because in Assam, as well as the central leaders, they are all in favor of the NRC. Why is this impression of a duality? Shekhar Datta.
They have not explained the reasons why they are against this, but if the central BJP puts pressure on the state unit, they will ultimately agree, I think.
If the central BJP puts pressure, they will.
And the implications of NRC may not be very clear to the state leadership.
Okay, now again, I was asking this question to Mr. Gautam Das and others. You know, the tribals in Tripura, you know, they are also, this is not an overnight demand. They have been complaining for decades that they have been reduced to a minority in their own land due to large-scale infiltration from Bangladesh, earlier East Pakistan and so on. So, what is your take? Shekhar Datta.
There may be an agitation because there are regional parties who try to capitalize on this issue. But there will be no reversal of the trend which was set in by the partition of India as reflected in a huge immigration of people from the then East Pakistan. That is not going to be reversed, but an issue will be there and there will be a lot of bitterness and conflict. It is quite likely.
So, things may not be as simple as one is made to believe. As Shekhar Datta says, there could be a lot of bitterness. But before go, once again, Shekhar Datta, what could be the possible response? Dr. Ashok Sinha is saying that the party is going to discuss the issue if necessary within the party as well as, of course, if necessary with others in the state. But what could be the possible response of the state government to the Supreme Court notice? After all, the BJP also has wants to remember that they have got a tribal ally in the form of the Indigenous People's Front of Tripura. Shekhar Datta.
BJP is in no position to defy the Supreme Court order or to speak against it. At most, they may seek a review. But
No. But Supreme Court has not issued any order.
No. Reasons.
No, Shekhar,
which
Supreme
they will
Court
not be able to do.
No.
So ultimately, I think they will have to agree to abide by the Supreme Court
Shekhar
order
Datta,
following pressure from the
you see, Shekhar, Supreme Court has not issued any order. Supreme Court has only asked for a response from the state government, apart from, of course, the centre. Shekhar.
Going by what Mr. Biplab Kumar Deb, the Chief Minister, said earlier, they have to oppose it. But now I think wiser counsel will prevail and the central BJP will exert some pressure on the state unit. So they will agree willy-nilly.
Dr. Ashok Sinha,
Moreover, there will be pressure from their regional ally, the IPFT, and even INPT.
Dr. Ashok Sinha, you know Shekhar Datta better than me. He's a veteran journalist of your state. He thinks that it is not as simple. You will have to come out with a better reply. You will have to come out with a more specific reply, and that perhaps would be, you know, to go in favor of the NRC very, very clearly. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know what you are calling a specific reply or not. I very clearly said NRC is law and no one can refuse the law. NRC has to be done. No, there is no question of not doing the NRC. NRC is a national register of citizens. It has to be there. The question is whether it should be separately, specifically done for Tripura or not. That is probably the case because it was done for Assam individually. Whether it should be done suddenly for Tripura specifically, that is the question which has been raised in the Supreme Court.
So, I get an impression, Dr. Ashok Sinha, please correct me if I am wrong. Please correct me if I am wrong. I get an impression that Tripura will have no problem, your government will have no problem if the NRC exercise is done across the country, but you may have some problem if it is asked to be done only in your own state.
No, I did not say I will have a problem. I said that is the question. This question, whether it will be done separately for Tripura. Because in case of Assam, there was a clear Assam Accord. The government of India and ASU had this Assam Accord and then it followed up after that. But in case of Tripura, there is no such accord, no such accord, whether this will be done separately for Tripura or not. That is the question. And that order can either be given by the Supreme Court or by the central government.
So, Mr. Gautam Das, do you get this
And
impression?
in the Supreme Court, my learned friends,
Right.
the learned friends who are diplomatic or otherwise, they'll argue it out. And I think it's quite good that it has got to the Supreme Court, so that the less of murky politics, the better.
Less of murky politics, the better. Mr. Gautam Das, do you get an impression? Dr. Ashok Sinha has made it very clear that he has no problem with the NRC. It's a national document. It has to be, it's within the law. Everybody should have a national register of citizens. Nobody can oppose it. But the question that Dr. Ashok Sinha is raising, whether it should be only for Tripura suddenly, or it should be an exercise encompassing the entire country. Are you getting a sense that the BJP in Tripura is somewhere, hesitant to go with this exercise, at least at this point in time? Mr. Gautam Das.
No, actually, we will not pass any comment about their reaction. We are waiting for the reply of the union government and state government and other parties, those who are noticed.
Okay. So even Mr. Gautam Das of the CPM is also very guarded. But we are talking about this. Dr. Ashok Sinha has said that he has no problem if there is an exercise across the country, but he seems to having some hesitation whether he's asking the question whether it should be only for Tripura. Abhijit Sharma, what is your organization, the Assam Public Works, I understand is also trying to move the Supreme Court, is planning to move the Supreme Court for NRC exercise in some other states. What is the status? Can you elaborate?
We have some good friends in Arunachal, Meghalaya, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram and West Bengal. So we are talking with our good friends. And West Bengal is a party itself in the 274/09 case. So we are filing affidavits demanding the NRC in rest part of the Northeast. Because Arunachal, Meghalaya, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram is okay. But West Bengal is a serious threat for us right now, for Assam. So we will be demanding for the NRC updation, not NRC updation, for NRC in rest part of the states, mainly Arunachal, Meghalaya, Manipur, Nagaland, Mizoram, and very seriously
not
in
Tripura.
West Bengal. Tripura is already, Tripura People's Front is there.
Tripura People's Front have already demanded.
Yeah. And very seriously and very urgently we want in West Bengal, because West Bengal is another threat for us.
So the breaking news at this point in time is that the Assam Public Works that had in 2009 moved the Supreme Court to expedite the process of the NRC in Assam, that ultimately made the court monitor this entire exercise, is now the same Assam Public Works is moving the Supreme Court, filing affidavits demanding NRC in the rest of the northeastern states, and most importantly in the state of West Bengal. Manish, what do you think of this move? Do you think the Supreme Court will now have to take cognizance as and when such petitions are moved? Because this is demanding a national register of citizens, that means a list of citizens for this country.
Well, if they make out a case, the Supreme Court will definitely take cognizance. If they make out a case, I have not even seen their petition. I don't see any reason why the Supreme Court should not take cognizance if they make out a case.
Now, what do you think of the argument made by Dr. Ashok Sinha, the BJP chief spokesman in Tripura? He's saying that the issue is whether only Tripura should have an NRC now. He says that there is no problem if there is an NRC in the entire country. Nobody can oppose the decision to have an NRC. But his only issue is whether it should be only for Tripura. Do you think anybody should have problem as far as that is concerned, on that ground?
I don't think so anyone should have a problem. But anyway, that issue is before the Supreme Court. We have got brilliant judges in the Supreme Court. Let them decide the issue, whether it should be only for the only for Tripura or for the entire nation. Let's not speculate. The matter is before the Supreme Court, they will decide.
Prasenjit, what do you make of this? Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, what do you make of this?
Yes, I mean, I would go with the idea that, whatever Rules 2003 is saying, it doesn't call for an NRC. It calls for NRIC, National Register of Indian Citizens. We are even distorting the very concept. We are not reading the rules properly. And if those rules are followed steadfastly in letter and spirit, that upholds the principles of citizenship equally across the country. So it should be across the country if it is to be taken up. It should not be something like spreading like wildfire from one place to another.
So you are in favor
So it
of...
should be applied following the rule of law.
Now, let me, I am running short of time. Mr. Gautam Das, one of the issues which the Tripura People's Front has raised in this petition to the Supreme Court, they are also demanding, measures to protect the language, culture and script of the indigenous Tripuri people. My question to you, Mr. Gautam Das, is that your party, the CPM, has been in power for 25 years without a break. And the allegation is that you just did not do anything to protect the language, culture and script of the tribal people in Tripura. Mr. Gautam Das.
So, actually, tribal people here and that is citizen of Tripura and elsewhere, they know what action has been taken by the erstwhile left-hand government here. Actually, it is the democratic movement, that is United Democratic Movement of tribal and non-tribal people led by CPIM and Tripura Rajya Upajati Ganamukti Parishad. They forced the central government to introduce 6th schedule in Tripura, and also this illegally transferred land to the non-tribals here during Congress regime. That was restored during the left-hand government. Left-hand government has taken this initiative and for protecting the language of the tribal people here. Actually, that it is the left-hand government, Tripura left-hand government, who first recognized the Kokborok language. The majority of the tribal people speak in that language. It is as a state language, and also other small ethnic group also there. So their mother language also been introduced in the that is media of instruction and upliftment of their culture and for their socio-economic development. It was the left-hand government, though actually ADC area is 1/3 of the that is population of the state.
Yeah.
But from the planned budget of the state government, 50% budget, planned budget was allocated for ADC area, and number of schemes that has been taken by left-hand government and jointly implemented by left-hand government and autonomous district council. And as a result,
Yeah.
Tripura, it has become the top 1 position in the literacy in the whole country, and in other thing also.
Okay.
So there are gradually earlier actually there are that is Jum cultivation. Now that is stopped, and now they are in settled life. So number of measures, welfare measures. Yes.
Okay. Now, Dr. Ashok Sinha, Mr. Gautam Das tried to take credit. He says that CPM deserves all the credit. The left-front government deserves all the credit for bringing the autonomous district councils in Tripura for the tribal people. Now, that is fine. But my question to you, Dr. Ashok Sinha, can you assure the viewers, can you assure the people, tribal people of Tripura, that your government will very soon take specific measures so that their apprehension is taken into account, that protection of their language, culture and script? They're particularly worried about their script, Dr. Ashok Sinha.
See, let us be very clear on this. The mandate that we got was largely from the tribals. The tribals supported us wholeheartedly. The non-tribals supported us wholeheartedly. So there is no question of differentiating between people. But yes, as far as the special problems of the tribals are concerned, the BJP has very clearly mentioned in the vision document about all these things.
Right.
See,
Right.
education, health, all these things, it really needs to see, everything is on paper. Everything is on paper. If you go to the ground, you find nothing. As you go deeper, you find nothing and absolute nothing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That is where we want to go in. The BJP
Right.
has to go in. The government has to go in there.
My last words, your concluding remarks, Manish, people like you will be very, very busy in the coming days because the entire issue, not just in Tripura, but the rest of the country, I mean, it will be mired in judicial, legal battles, or at least a lot of people are going to knock the doors of the Supreme Court on this issue of citizenship list, NRC, as well as detection and deportation of foreign nationals. Manish.
Yeah, in fact, why not? This country shouldn't be a ground for everyone to come and dump themselves. This country should belong only to Indians. Why not? We should try and do the maximum possible. And if my closing comments could be that I hope and trust that the NRC process in Tripura is initiated at the earliest under the supervision of the Honorable Supreme Court. That would be my closing comments.
Okay, yes, why not? Abhijit Sharma, I mean, you are also going to be a busy man because you are going to file affidavits demanding an NRC in the entire Northeast. Tripura, you said, has already, Tripura People's Front has moved. So rest of the Northeast, you will be moving the Supreme Court for having the NRC in those states, apart from, of course, West Bengal. How soon is this process going to start? How soon are you filing these affidavits?
By second week of November, the whole process will be completed.
So the breaking news, Abhijit Sharma's Assam Public Works is moving the Supreme Court by the second week of November to filing affidavits demanding NRC in all the northeastern states and, of course, the state of West Bengal. Now, concluding remarks, your last words, Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, where is this entire debate heading?
Yes.
Where are we heading in the days ahead?
The purpose of very NRC has been defeated and questioned by the same people, those who have mooted this idea. Now there is a proposal for having Citizenship Amendment Bill 2016. Same people are moving in contradictory ways, so they are only creating confusion. None of them are going by the Constitution, none of them are going by the human rights. They are going by some political contingencies. This is going to create a massive disruption
Human
in the
rights are on
public
both
life.
sides.
Decitizenization
Why
and
human rights?
statelessness are never going to be an index of development in our country.
Okay, I'll have to wrap up, but before that, last word to you, Dr. Ashok Sinha. Last words. Politicians are always going to be at the receiving end, isn't it? You are prepared for that.
Yeah, it's all welcome. See, people have spoken about everything. You have to look at the amended Passport Act also. And like my friend just now said, look at the Citizenship Act the bill that is being presented in the Parliament. Everything will fall in place, one after another, and ultimately the Supreme Court is going to guide us on exactly how to do things, what to do, and that, I think, is the best option for us. We will present our case to the Supreme Court, the other also will present, and finally the Honorable Supreme Court will decide, and that, I think, will be the best for the country.
Absolutely.
We believe in the wisdom.
Absolutely.
We have faith in the wisdom of our Supreme Court.
Absolutely. While everything else can be debated, what cannot be debated is the statutes and the provisions laid out in the constitution of this country, and of course for the interpretation part and the verdict and the judgment, we'll have to leave it to the apex court, that is the Supreme Court. And I'm sure Manish is not going to dispute that. On that note, we end this edition of Northeast Tonight. I'd like to thank all my panelists for participating in this very engaging discussion. Good night and goodbye.